Broadcasting live from somewhere in the Shadow Realm, this is YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Here's your host, Dimmaduel.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of YuGiOh Duel Links Talk. Today we're going to take a look at the Gardner level 40 victory rewards. There's a lot of solid ones in here, and there's some that can actually come into play with quite a few of the more popular deck builds right now. Specifically, a lot of the types of decks that were being heavily used within the YuGiOh Duel Links World Championship qualifiers. So, without further ado, I'm going to start going through these cards. We're going to start with the normals, then go through the rares, the supers, and then the ultra. So we'll start with the normal. It's Red Medicine. It's just a regular spell card where you increase your life points by 500 points. So nothing wrong with that. Just getting that card right off the bat. It's always nice to have something to help increase your life points. Speaking of that, the next one we have in here is a rare card, a rare spell, Goblin's Secret Remedy. You increase your life points by 600 points. So I'm starting to see the trend here. The next one here is what I've been using in one of my decks, just because it's pretty plain and simple. It's a good life point booster, and it's Soul of the Pure. It's another rare one, pretty easy to get. You increase your life points by 800 points. Now, there are much better cards than this as far as life point increases, but as far as I'm concerned right now, this was my best option in some of my decks. So I've run a few copies of Soul of the Pure. Next here we have Warrior Elimination. It's a rare spell card that destroys all face-up warrior-type monsters on the field. Now, I wanted to mention this card because now with the new Crimson Kingdom box set and everybody kind of swooping in on the Buster Blader and the warrior-type monsters, and how it seems like Konami is trying to get people to build more and more warrior decks given all of the support that recently came out, Warrior Elimination is going to be a sneaky, underrated card that if you know you're going up against a heavy set amount of warrior-type decks, Warrior Elimination may just help you out. So, anyway, moving forward here, we have another spell card. It's a rare Acid Rain. Destroy all face-up machine-type monsters on the field. So it seems like Tia Gardner here has quite a few of these types of cards that are destroying just one type of monster. It seems like Acid Rain, as far as machine-type monsters are concerned, seems to be something more along the lines of a Bandit Keith type of deck build. Some of those Guardian decks as well have a few machine-type monsters. So this card, maybe it's not so useful right now because I don't necessarily see a lot of machine-heavy decks. But maybe down the road, once more support comes out, this one may be fairly useful. The next one here is Exile of the Wicked. Destroy all face-up Fiend-type monsters on the field. So this one would work well against some of those Yugi decks where it seems to be very Fiend-heavy outside of the Spellcaster stuff, so not too bad. Next you have Eternal Drought, a spell card that destroys all face-up Fish-type monsters on the field. So obviously that one will do you very well against a lot of those Mako Tsunami decks that have a handful of fish monsters. So yeah, this one's a pretty solid one as well. Next you have Breath of Light. Destroy all face-up rock-type monsters on the field. The first thing that comes to mind when I'm hearing face-up Earth-type monsters is probably the Magnet Warrior decks. I know they're pretty rock-heavy. I know in the prior Yugi Moto event, Yugi had quite a few rock-type monsters as well. So this one can really clean house against that type of deck. So between, let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those different cards here, they target different major types of cards. Some of them are more useful than others. Right now, I feel like you should keep an eye on Warrior Elimination and see if you can get a few copies of that. Depending on what else you're going up against, Exile of the Wicked is not so bad, and Breath of Light either. It just depends on what you think you're going to be going up against more often than not. I've seen quite a few Fiend-type decks, especially in the qualifiers, but I think you're going to see a lot more Warrior-type monster decks, so just something to look out for. So now let's get into the good cards here. We'll go into the super rares. The first one here is Solemn Wishes. It's a continuous trap card. Increase your life points by 500 points each time you draw a card or cards. So this is just a solid way to continue boosting your life points. This is one that I would consider putting into a 3-star demotion deck, just so you get a steady increase of life points on top of whatever else you're making plays for. So I don't think I have any copies of it right now. No, I haven't really been farming Tia that much, but I really plan to, and you'll see why when we get into some of these other cards. The next super rare is Diane Keto, the Cure Master. You increase your life points by 1,000 points. So this is a really solid card. Nothing wrong with boosting your life points by 1,000. But since I don't have a copy of that, that's why I was explaining earlier that I went with Soul of the Pure, because that's as close as you could get to Diane Keto for now is 800. So at least as far as what I have. Next is the card that I absolutely really want to get, and I know a lot of people who have multiple copies of this and have been taking full advantage of it with their 3-star demotion decks, and that is Supremacy Berry. And what Supremacy Berry does is, if your life points are lower than your opponent's when this card was activated, gain 2,000 life points. If your life points were higher than your opponent's, you take 1,000 damage. Now the funny thing is, in certain duels I have seen this card misplayed, and the opponent who actually used this card didn't realize at the time that their life points were higher than mine, and it ended up costing them pretty dearly by losing 1,000 life points. So awareness is key when using this card, and I know that sounds simple, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but I've seen it misplayed, and it seems like the kind of thing that I would do if I'm really kind of haphazardly thinking when I'm playing the game. But yeah, Supremacy Berry is just an all-around good card, especially for 3-star demotion decks. In your first turn, you're going to lose 2,000 life points to summon one of your monsters, or to drop the level of all your monsters. Already you're going to have lower life points than your opponent. So using Supremacy Berry will bring you back up to 4,000 life points after using your effect. So you can see why this card is highly sought after now. I don't know how good or how bad the drop rate is on it, because like I said, I have not pulled it yet. The next card we have here is another spell card, super rare, Sage's Stone. If you control a face-up Dark Magician Girl, special summon one Dark Magician from your hand or deck. So this one also is just a crazy good card if you're running one of those Dark Magician spellcaster decks. If you have a few copies of Dark Magician Girl, you'll be able to utilize that with Sage's Stone and fill your field with not just one strong spellcaster monster, because I know Dark Magician Girl is a pretty solid attack, but also you'll get your Dark Magician out there, potentially going into even bigger and better combo plays with cards like Thousand Knives or something like that. So Sage's Stone, awesome card. You can get that from farming Tia Gardner at level 40. So I did get a copy of this card. I would love to have a few more, but yeah, that is just a really solid super rare. The next super rare we have here is Magic Formula. It is a equip spell card, equipped only to Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl. It gains 700 attack. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, gain 1,000 life points. So regardless if you're attaching this card to your monster, or if it ends up getting destroyed during battle or by card effect or whatever, as long as it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you're going to get 1,000 life points, and I more than welcome that life point boost. This one would go really well in a 3-star demotion deck too, just for the sake of that life point gain. And if you're running more Dark Magicians and Dark Magician Girls, a 700 attack boost can really help you get over some of those stronger monsters like Blue Eyes White Dragon, or I think too you could kind of bump heads with the Black Skull Dragon. I think Black Skull Dragon's got a 3,200 attack. Equip this card to a Dark Magician, and you'll be right there with them. So you could even run into a Black Skull Dragon. Yeah, both cards get destroyed, but then you get your 1,000 life point boost as well. So that could even come into play in your next turn. So there's a lot of good strategy involved with the Magic Formula spell card. I think it's a highly underrated spell card, but definitely worth it if you're able to get this one out of your drops. So finally, we end up with the ultra rare, and if you haven't figured it out by now, you get Dark Magician Girl, which I was able to already get another one of these, so now I have 2 copies, which is awesome. But Dark Magician Girl is a level 6 spellcaster, 2,000 attack, 1,700 defense. Don't let the low attack fool you, because this card gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in either player's graveyard. So with the influx of Dark Magician decks, and if you're able to clear some off your opponent's field, this card can benefit you even more so than your opponent in certain cases. So Dark Magician Girl, all around solid card. The big reason why you want to have Dark Magician Girl is also for the sake of the Sage of Stone combo. But also at a level 6, it only requires 1 tribute, so even if you're not in a solid position to use something like 3-star Demotion, you'd still be able to get Dark Magician Girl onto the field quite a bit easier than a Dark Magician, since it would require 2 tributes. So overall, really solid set of cards. I know the rares and the normal card that you could get from level 40 Tia isn't necessarily the most exciting, but I think some of them are pretty underrated. I think you could hang on to some of these and they may become useful down the road. But yeah, these are some really, really good supers, and of course a really good ultra as well that you can get from these drops. So I'd like to hear about your experiences farming Tia. I know there's a lot of good farming decks out there on YouTube. Feel free to check those out, look those up. And yes, hopefully you get what you need, and hopefully you get what you need fast. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. If there's anything that you want to add, or if you have any experiences that you want to share, reach out on Twitter at YuGiOh Deck Talk. It's all one word, at YuGiOh Deck Talk, and I'd love to mention it in an upcoming podcast. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and take care.